In October 2001, Jewish supremacist Stephen Steinlight published a paper entitled The Jewish Stake in America's Changing Demography, Reconsidering a Misguided Immigration Policy. In this paper, which is freely available online, Steinlight admitted that the Jews have been behind the United States mass immigration open borders policy with the express intent of reducing white Americans to a minority. However, Steinlight proposes to his fellow Jews that America's demographic transformation is happening too quickly. The problem, Steinlight says, is that too quick of a transformation to a non-white majority is a threat to Jewish power. Steinlight says that the source of the Jewish power in America is white guilt over the Holocaust, and that this is how they have been able to reign supreme. Steinlight is worried that if whites become a minority too quickly, the new majority of color will no longer have any connection to or feel any guilt for the Holocaust. Remember, this is from 2001 he wrote this. He is worried that the new non-white majority will no longer want to give Jews special privileges and that they will no longer want to support the state of Israel. Therefore, Steinlight proposes that non-white immigration must be drastically reduced to manageable levels, which will give the Jews more time to brainwash the newcomers with Jewish propaganda. We've got the required Holocaust education in, I think, 26 states. Might be up to 28 now, but there's proposed legislation in almost all the rest of them. Steinlight specifically mentions the need to reduce Hispanic and Muslim immigration. Steinlight is also concerned that the speed of the demographic transformation is angering white Americans. He is afraid that if the Jews do not slow down the flood of immigration, whites will become increasingly racially conscious. Sound a little bit like Tucker? And there will be a violent backlash against the Jews. By reducing immigration, the Jews can pacify whites. He also proposes another tool to prevent white solidarity, a revival of American patriotism. A civic nationalism must be revived so that the loyalty to America will outweigh any ethnic loyalties among the Gentile populace. In the end, Steinlight says, a white majority in America is still the goal, but the Jews must do it. A white minority is still the goal, but the Jews must do it more gradually. I'll confess it, at least like thousands of other typical Jewish kids of my generation, I was reared as a Jewish nationalist, even a quasi-separatist. Every summer for 2 months, or for 10 formative years during my childhood and adolescence, I attended Jewish summer camp. There, each morning, I saluted a foreign flag, dressed in a uniform reflecting its colors, sang a foreign national anthem, learned a foreign language, learned foreign folk songs and dances, and was taught that Israel was the true homeland. Emigration to Israel was considered the highest virtue, and like many other Jewish teens of my generation, I spent 2 summers working in Israel on a collective farm while I contemplated that possibility. More tacitly and subconsciously, I was taught the superiority of my people to the Gentiles who had oppressed us. We were taught to view non-Jews as untrustworthy outsiders, people from whom sudden gusts of hatred might be anticipated, people less sensitive, less intelligent, and moral than ourselves. We were also taught that the lesson of our dark history is that we could rely on no one. This is the issue. This is what they're worried about. When you see a handful of right-wingers that are mainstream say, "Oh, hold on, ease up on the gas a little bit, ease it up. I think we're going to go flying off the rails." That's what they're worried about.